Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown. I'm Matthew Oliver with Stillwater Alchemy, and we made it. We have moved through both of the eclipses this eclipse season. And I wanted to expand upon this a little bit because I've been getting a lot of DMs and comments and questions about people moving through a lot and how things may manifest or kind of like aftercare of eclipse season. And remember that we're still integrating a lot of this for weeks and months to come. So it's going to look different for everyone, especially based on your own placements in your individual natal chart. I know for me, I was taking all of last week very chill, but especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And on Saturday, I had clients, everything was great. And then it was around 6:37. I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a little cat nap and then I can enjoy the rest of the evening. So I set an alarm for 1 hour. I wake up, I'm still so tired. It's like I got even more tired. So then I set another alarm, and then I woke up and it was 3:30 in the morning. So I literally slept for like 8 hours. Silver lining is I walked to my window and the moon was beautiful and full and gorgeous. And then I think I went back to bed around 6 a.m. And then I woke up, it was 1:30. And then I ordered pancakes. So I wanted to share that because even for me, knowing all these things, taking the precautions, giving myself a lot of time to rest, my body still needed even more rest to integrate, to receive the downloads. And I'm sure many of you have been feeling this as well. My dreams have been so intense, but also like very illuminating in the sense of everything that I've been wanting, everything I've been calling in is what I'm dreaming of. And I was like, oh, so I'm already dreaming about these things. It already exist in one timeline, one reality. So then it's just a matter of time. So it's very affirming. So don't sleep on the rest, making sure that you're still getting lots of time for yourself. Even this week, all the planets are in their respected signs except for the moon, and Mercury's finishing up its retrograde. It's going to station direct on Monday of next week. So this is the time to wrap up loose ends, to give yourself time to rest and integrate if you haven't had enough time to do so yet. This is the right time to do so, okay? So let us look at the transits, shall we? Starting on Monday, May 8th. So this is really great. I think for a lot of people, Monday is going to feel like a breath of fresh air, or that things are just a lot lighter, energetically speaking. We have the moon in Sagittarius making that beautiful applied trine to Jupiter. So this is just positive emotion, good opportunity. There might even just be things that come knocking on your door. You might be seeing the shifts of this eclipse happen very quickly. I also want to bring attention to now that Venus is in the sign of Cancer. So all week, Venus is making this trine to Saturn in Pisces. This is going to be a prime opportunity for you to set new boundaries, how you wish to receive love, how you wish to give love. What does it mean for you to be in amicable relationships, relationship with yourself, relationship with beauty, relationship with money, relationship with neighbors, relationship with everyone? Because now we also have Venus and Mars co-present in the sign of Cancer. So this is really one manifestation. How I would look at this is, what are you really passionate about? What do you really want to do? I even talked about that in the full moon workshop, which if you haven't done so yet and want some additional love and a resource to integrate this full moon eclipse, I can put the link up and also be in the description of this video. But this just further amplifies that, right? Like we have this co-presence of Venus and Mars, we have this duality, we have this balance of energies. So look to the Cancer ruled part of your natal chart, because that will really show you where there's going to be a lot of opportunity for rebalancing the energies to make you happier, to help you feel more safe, to bring in more love in all areas of your life. And we also have Mercury making that applied sextile to Venus as well. So there could be, as we're integrating, and you may have already been experiencing this before, but really be cautious of this week of things coming back around, whether it be offers, mindsets, lovers, friends, or you thinking it's like, oh, I really feel called to reach out to that person. Is that intention grounded in your best interest or not? There could be opportunity for very clear, definitive boundaries that are going to help you significantly moving forward. All right. And this can also be a time too, like, let's say you haven't done any of your spring cleaning, if you haven't gotten your taxes done, if there are things that still need to have ample time and focus towards, do that this week, because there's so much that's shifting next week. If you could do it this week, you'll be in a really prime position to get everything rolling full speed ahead next week. Okay. Tuesday, we have the Sun Uranus cazimi, which is the biggest thing to note. So remember, a cazimi is when a planet is so close to the sun, it really amplifies the energy. It'll be interesting. One manifestation of this is like to see the stock markets, crypto, anything around money, like what on a macro scale, news reports or anything that's going on with the stock market or just global finances. But secondly, how you want to see this on a personal micro scale is to see which house in your natal chart is ruled by Taurus, because then you'll really see this magnify here. So it could be an opportunity to receive more pleasure, more love, more stable energy. That's a really big key theme with Taurus. But if we're looking at Uranus, you might be in a place where you have to feel uncomfortable to push you out of a situation that's no longer aligned to then receive something better. This could also be how you are seen, right? Given that the sun is here with Uranus, you might be completely reinventing yourself. You might be starting something completely brand new that might feel uncomfortable at first, but you're really doing this to shine or to be around other solar presences. So maybe you want to go to a different company to be with a better boss or a better mentor or someone like a better friend group or community where you can just be happier. So really take time for yourself on Tuesday, because we also have the moon in Capricorn on Tuesday making a trine to Mercury, and then that applied trine to the sun and Uranus as well as we move into Wednesday. So if we can take time to slow down, if we can get comfortable with our boundaries and with our worth, then I think there's going to be a lot of doors that are going to open up, or at least just clarity on what you desire. And whether or not you commit time to that is completely up to you, but the path will be very clear. And I feel like that's a big thing that happened with these eclipses, but especially that lunar eclipse that we had in Scorpio is like all these fears, all these stories, all these obstacles are being removed. And if they aren't being removed yet, we have to go inward, because a lot of times, most often every single time, your external reality is just mirroring what you're feeling on the inside. So if there's a clear path, or if there's something that you can do every single day, if we're talking about fixed energy, what is it that needs to be done? And that can also be something too. It's like your day-to-day routine is going to be completely shifted or changed, Uranus, and that might be because of a relationship, a job, whatever this new goal or this new door is in front of you. Things will likely have to shift to hold this new expansive energy and version of yourself. And that's where the moon in Capricorn, I think, is going to be a huge blessing, because it's like, no, there's really no excuse. Capricorn energy can be very cold and dry in the sense of it is what it is. If you put through the time and the work, you are going to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And this can sometimes be cold in the sense of, with the moon opposing Venus here, there can be that back and forth of, well, what about this person or this loved one or this commitment? If we can really just be honest with what you want and what you need, there's going to be new opportunity presented. But if you're going off old programming, if you're always going to be concerned about others before about yourself, this is where things can shift in your favor. And like boundaries again, with the moon now also sextiling Saturn on Tuesday. And the boundary could even just be you giving yourself time to do the thing, whether it's time to go to the gym, time to meditate, time to goal map, time to send emails and apply for jobs. Really be honest with yourself and see where your time is going each and every day, and if it's actually contributing to what you want or not. All right. Now, Wednesday, we have the moon opposing Mars. I was also curious for my other fellow Capricorn risings out there. Like the past month for me, I've been getting like random cuts on my fingers. I really hit my ankle hard on the bathtub and there's this massive bruise. With Mars opposing this moon in Capricorn, just be careful of injuries or certain things. And for my fellow Capricorn risings, I'm talking to you as well with the moon there as well. Capricorn rules the knees, and it can also be the teeth and bones. So this could be a good reminder. Let's say if you need to go to the dentist, or you need to stretch, or let's say if you're a runner, do a lot of cardio, making sure that you are tending to your knees, your ankles, your hips. This could also be a good time to get new shoes. If we're talking about Venus trine Saturn, especially with Pisces ruling the feet, it's like getting new footwear that is going to obviously help your knees as just like a fun manifestation of this. Another good thing with Wednesday is that the moon is still in strong aspect to the sun in Uranus. So there could be that shift or that download that came in on Tuesday. And now you feel comfortable or you move past either fears or what other people may think to actually implement this energy. We also have the moon making a sextile to Neptune. So intuition, dreams, foresight, signs, synchronicities are likely to be supporting you very much. And I know that I always say this, but please, 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 this week, as we're integrating the eclipses, as there's so much change happening with this Sun Uranus cazimi, especially at the start of the week, don't take on other people's energy. If you're so in tune with your own channel, if you know what's coming through, and then someone on TikTok is like, oh, an old lover is coming back, and you're like, oh, are they? You've now allowed some random person online to imprint that energy onto you when it wasn't even part of your process to implement what you need to implement this week, or is just going to serve as a distraction. If you do go on social media or you need to for work, my suggestion is to be very intentional, to set an intention before you click that app and say, my intention for going on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, is to be productive, to use the next 10 to 15 minutes to promote, to share knowledge, to communicate with my community, and then I'm going to leave this space. And that way, when you're in the realm or the matrix of social media, it's not to get distracted or to waste time. It's for a specific intention. And then that way we can go back and work in the 3D realm for all the beautiful blessings and revisions that get to happen this week. Beautiful. Now, Thursday, we have the moon conjunct Pluto. That's a really big aspect this week. And with that, because I'm going to bring this up again in the astrology question of the week, there can be a lot that's happening here because on Thursday, the moon is also making that square to Mercury retrograde. So revisions, communication, you might be waiting on certain correspondence. So you might be in your head if you haven't heard an answer. Maybe you're starting to implement something new and there's a roadblock or a perceived delay. Don't freak out. Like Thursday is the time to really honor all the change, all the shifts that's going on. But if you're not getting what you want or what you need, it's okay. It will pass. It's like that things will happen either at the start of next week or you'll get the answer when you finally just let go and surrender. This can also be a time too where it's like, great, you did all the important, strong moves at the start of the week. Now you can just relax if that feels good for you. There's also this sense of truth and clarity that can come in, or power if we're talking about in relation to our emotions or our body. This could also manifest in overwhelm if you allow it, in terms of, I'm not hearing back from this person, what about this, what about that, like creating all these stories or narratives or beliefs that aren't real, because Pluto can really dramatize certain energies in our life. It can either blow things up, or we can get so obsessed on one like emoji that was or wasn't used, or like a period versus an exclamation point. So we can really get in our head about this and it can drastically shift our emotions. So maybe Thursday morning, you get grounded, maybe take a little bit more time in your journal. Doing things that are going to help you move in your body, not get trapped in your head, will make the entire day significantly easier. All right. And also too, at this point, this is the only air energy we have being activated until we move into Gemini season next week. So this could also be an energy too, where you're using air energy, your thoughts, your words, your beliefs, your communication, to move past things that may seem rigid or stuck or unmoving with all this earth and water. So if you can use your words, use your thoughts to overcome limitations, perceived limitations, roadblocks, you might just tap into how powerful you truly are. So mindful of your thoughts, mindful of being stuck in your head on Thursday, and taking time for additional grounding Thursday morning will be of huge benefit. Now, Friday, we also see that the moon in Aquarius is making a square to Uranus and the sun. So since we're now pretty far away from Pluto, things might come up. Things in terms of, given that the moon is in this third, like, waning last quarter moon phase, there we go, there can be this energy of, okay, I know what I need to do. How am I going to shift through these things, or how am I going to communicate this, or how am I going to initiate what I'm wanting while still upholding all my other responsibilities, or while still maintaining a status quo in my life? And this could also be the classic head versus heart, with Aquarius being more cerebral, Taurus being more kind of in that feeling heart space, generally speaking. So you might just feel like you're having to balance certain things, or what's coming through intuitively, not necessarily with the astrology, is recalibrating priorities. So if you're now starting a new relationship, business, habit, health pattern, whatever it is, other things in your life that may have been stable or routine are likely to change. So even for you personally, how you're going to work through those changes is likely to be coming through on Friday. Or maybe there's someone who wants to like to go out for drinks and you're like, no, like I have to do something on Saturday morning. And what you normally would do, maybe you always go out for drinks on Friday night. And now you're shifting how you do things. So just be aware of the emotional change or things that you're feeling as new habits or new structures are forming. The good thing is here is that the moon is making that applied sextile to Jupiter. So I think the new beliefs, the new thoughts will start to click. And sometimes too, this has nothing to do with what you're feeling. It's your reactions and responses from those around you. So you might just be firm in how you're speaking or what you're doing to be very confident in the path that you're moving forward. We also see now too over the weekend that Mars is making that really close trine to Neptune. So with that as well, it's like pursuing your dreams. Really, this could also be like a philanthropic energy where you're wanting to give back, but also to being aware of what you give your energy and time to. If it's coming from a heart-centered place, ego, if there is this consumption with greed or vanity, it's like, how are we implementing our energy? Is it for our highest service? Are we doing this from an old programming, even potentially from an old timeline? For those of you who believe in past lives and reincarnations, there's an energy here where it's like we are now fully integrating into a new reality, into a new timeline, into a new fantasy, which can then also spark new creation, new creativity, new opportunity. And with that, that's where this, I think this friction is going to be from the old and the old patterns, the new beliefs. And so sometimes that can be tricky to navigate. That even like a little example, this could be like when you're implementing and adding new foods into your diet, or you're restricting certain things. You're like, I know for me, I don't eat dairy and I don't eat gluten. So a lot of times too, like when you're going out and people don't know that and they're like, oh, like, is that okay? Can you eat this? Can you eat that? And you get like certain reactions from people that want to be mindful of your nutrition. And so a lot of times too, like when you are showing up in a new space or you're starting something in a way that's never been done before, people's reactions may have an effect on you. And I think that is what, for some, you might be moving through at the end of the week here. Now, Saturday, moon in Pisces. This is like a really fun energy because we have all of this water activation. We have 5 planets there. The moon making a trine to Venus, the moon conjunct Saturn. I think a great manifestation of this can be your hard work and boundaries paying off and getting a really nice resolve from your loved ones, from what you consider desirable, from a source of pleasure. So really just sit back and watch your hard work pay off over the weekend. This could also be you just spending time with who you love, or is a really easy manifestation of this. And we also see this grand water trine if we're taking in the South Node in Scorpio. So this could also be honoring everything that you have done, let's say during this eclipse season, over the past 6 months, over the past 18 months, and really seeing how putting forth time, boundary, and energy into what you are creating is really paying off. I think sometimes too, if we're using kind of like the gym metaphor, working out or eating healthy, there are times within like your day to day or week to week where you don't really see the results. And then there's just one day you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I do feel like I'm getting stronger. I do feel like my body is changing in the way that I want. Or like you go to the gym and you run faster than you've ever done before, like getting new personal bests. I think, I mean, that's a good way of phrasing, especially Saturdays, like new personal bests. And then with Saturn, it's like, okay, we get to extend what we believe is possible, right? We get to now work in a different way to call in new love, new pleasure, new wealth, all the things. And then on Sunday, the moon conjunct Neptune, the moon making a trine to Mars. This can also just be another day too. This would be a really nice, just like self-care day. tapping into your emotions and like doing something fun and creative is what I would do, whether it's like watching movies, playing video games, reading, going outside, connecting with nature, playing with pets. Like the whole weekend is pretty much primed for you to just relax, unwind, and celebrate yourself. So feel free to do that. We also have the moon making sextiles to Uranus and the sun on Sunday. So it's like self-care, relax, have fun, feel good. We love when the astrology gives us a weekend where we can just honor traditional weekend themes. So the astrology question of the week. I got a message talking about Pluto. Pluto is now retrograde, moving back into, it will be going back into Capricorn, middle of June of this year. But the question was, could I expand more on how Pluto and Aquarius may manifest, especially if you have personal placements in early degrees of Aquarius? So if you have any placements, angles in Aquarius, let's say at 0 degrees, 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degrees, we'll give Pluto a 3-degree orb, given it's a slow outer planet. The traditional themes of Pluto can represent death and rebirth, power, magnifying something or shrinking something down and getting into the fine details. Truth is also a big part of Pluto, I find. It's kind of like when you realize the truth, or that you realize someone has been gaslighting you, you realize that someone has been doing something untowards or illegal. Once you know the truth and how power has been skewed, then you can make an appropriate decision on how you wish to proceed, if at all, with that relationship or with that energy. However, personal power can come in here a lot. It's kind of like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So if you've had an experience where you've gone through a dark night of the soul, an ego death, or a literal death in your life, it really does alter you in some way on how you wish to proceed moving forward. So for any of you watching, and I will go further into Pluto and Aquarius, especially in 2024, once it's permanently in Aquarius. And for those of you who watch my content a lot, I don't have a negative connotation with retrogrades, especially with the outer planets, given that they're retrograde 4 to 6 months every single year. But some people can sometimes get a little anxious with retrogrades and how they may manifest. With any retrograde period, it's a time to revise. It's a time to slow down. It's time to see what is working and what isn't working. So if you have a personal planet or an angle in the early degrees of Aquarius, so Pluto would be hitting it very directly right now, you have to ask yourself, what's working, what's not working, what needs to die so that I can find more power in this. And sometimes I find with Pluto transits, it can manifest like the Tower card in tarot. It can seem like everything's happening at once. However, this is just my personal opinion. I think sometimes humans like to play the victim, and they're like, why is this happening to me? When there have been multiple signs that things had to change and you didn't do anything, and now things have to shift in order for you to live in a way that's going to be conducive and healthy. Not all the time. I understand that random things happen that we can't control, but it's also like, let's say if you clean your house a little bit every day, it's not going to be so stressful during spring cleaning. If you don't clean at all, and then you have to do a whole week's worth of spring cleaning, and then you're like, oh, I don't have any time for anything else. That's one thing. Also, like taxes is a good example. You could do your accounting a little bit each week, each month, and it's going to be an easy experience to get your taxes done at the end of the year. Or you could leave it all to the very end and be late and incur a penalty. That's what I feel like for Pluto a lot. Like if you are diligent, if you do things that are proper, correct, you're honoring your power, you're keeping people accountable, it's very unlikely that you're going to be in a position where power dynamics are working against you. If anything, you can be on the positive side of Pluto and helping to stay within integral boundaries, that you're helping people to empower themselves. You're allowing new energy to form. So the death and rebirth is simply letting go of something that was unaligned, but it doesn't have to be dramatic. So for some, to recap this, if you're going through a direct Pluto transit in Aquarius right now, let's say for the next month until it retrogrades back into Capricorn, you have to ask yourself, where do I need to take more personal responsibility? Power. What is power? What power do I want to give to this? And what is the truth? What is your truth? What is the other person's truth if you're in a relationship or a dynamic where there's two people involved? And what is, because they always say, right, like 3 sides to every story, person A, person B, and then the actual truth. If there's something that just isn't working, you have to be honest with yourself and not be deluding and saying, this is how it actually is. how I'm going to react to this is in my control. How do I wish to shift things? And then for some, it can be in the sense of, this is a truth. I now know this is the truth. Let's say in a relationship, people reveal something that you didn't know before. So if there is a new truth revealed, how do you wish to respond? Do you want to keep on doing things the same way that you've always done? Or can you revise things, right? Pluto retrograde, to then work and operate in a new way that is going to benefit you and everyone involved. And given that this is Pluto in Aquarius, it's an air sign. We talked about that moon Pluto conjunction, especially on Thursday. So even if you don't have any personal placements in Aquarius, you'll all get a taste of what a Pluto activation will feel like emotionally, cerebrally on Thursday. So that'll be a nice way to maybe quantify or feel the blessings of Pluto. Okay. So let me know how that resonates. Feel free to share any downloads or experiences that occurred over this past weekend with that full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And I'll see you next week. Next week is really good. Lots of changes, lots of blessings. So use this week well to your advantage. Slow down, get rest, wrap up those loose ends. And I'll see you here next week. Bye.